Hello and welcome to our presentation that is going to focus specifically on the Moelis Advance Access Program as well as early career exploration. My name is Jake Kohler. I'm the director of the Ken Moelis and Julie Taffet Moelis Advance Access Program, which is the deferred admissions program at the Wharton School associated with the full-time MBA. And what we will discuss today, what we're going to focus on, are ultimately 5 different topics. I'm going to start by talking about what an MBA is, a Master's of Business Administration, and some of the value points, some of the research that's been done to talk about the benefits of an MBA itself. I'll then talk about the Wharton School itself, what the Wharton MBA looks like, and some of the specialized programs, distinguished elements of the Wharton MBA is. I'll talk about preparation, for you as an undergraduate or graduate student who's looking sometime in the future to pursue an MBA. I'll focus on what I think the next steps could look like for you and some of my guidance as somebody who works in an MBA admissions office and part of an admissions committee. I'll then talk specifically about the Moelis program and what you can expect both as a prospect, an applicant, and hopefully at some point a fellow, one of our enrolled students for the Moelis Advance Access Program. And then I'll share a little bit of information about application and your next steps and the next items that you could pursue. So when it comes to an MBA and just at the bare bones level, there's a lot of ways that you could see an MBA coming up, and there's lots of different MBA programs. When you're looking at them, there's a variety of different lengths. There are full-time programs, which we happen to be representative of, programs that you leave your job or you're not in a job, you're fully dedicated to that time. However, there are some other part-time and executive formats that allow you to balance. There's different delivery options. I'll say in a non-COVID world, there's a very clear distinction between an on-campus and an online delivery model. Certainly this year looks a little bit differently, but for any of you who are potentially pursuing an MBA 6 years from now, that distinction will be very evident, again, that on-campus versus online. And then there's different types of curricula. An MBA is a very versatile degree, and it's designed as a professional degree, not just a graduate degree, that is going to give foundational skills to be an organizational leader in the future. But there are some curricula that vary between those that focus specifically on general management and those that provide some opportunity for specialization within it. For the Wharton MBA, I'm just quickly highlighting that we are a full-time program that is on campus in any sort of non-pandemic world. And once the pandemic's over, we will be a fully on-campus program again. And we actually use both of those, both that general management and that specialization opportunity. That information I'll talk about later in more detail. But what I think it's important to, again, look back to is why does somebody want to pursue an MBA, for example? And these pursuits, these career goals that you see here are built from a survey that was designed by MBA.com a couple years ago that surveyed nearly 10,000 prospective MBA students and asked them, what are your goals? So if you are the type of person that broadly is looking for executive presence or organizational leadership, or you're seeking international development opportunities, either leading a multinational organization or getting the opportunity to travel internationally. Maybe you're just looking to have higher earning potential, all of which is valuable and insightful. Those are reasons why these survey respondents said that they were hoping to pursue an MBA. So you don't see in here the very specific skill listed or highly specialized or technical background, because while that might be found in a number of MBAs, the biggest driver towards this type of professional degree is that, again, versatile, broad-reaching development opportunity that gives you the power, the knowledge, the skills, and experience to be an organizational leader and be in positions of developing those technical opportunities for lots of different people, etc. And a lot of students balance, do I pursue that MBA versus some other specialized master's degree? And at different business schools, you see that both of these types of programs might exist. Those specialized master's degrees that might be very specific to a particular industry or subsect and specialized skill. And it's important to balance, what are you weighing in these cases? And this is just a very quick, this is not fully comprehensive, but this is one way of looking at some of the differences between those. Those specialized master's degrees will likely be about the same amount of time as an MBA, but the work experience is different. So the people who are in these programs are not necessarily at the same point of their professional lives. Those specialized master's degrees do not require full-time work experience, where in an MBA, you frequently are paired with people who have several years of full-time work experience because you're using those skills and experiences and you're sharing that with those individuals who you're taking those classes with. But what specialized master's degrees really focus on are building that industry-specific knowledge and technical skills and technical expertise in a chosen field. In an MBA, it depends on what that MBA does, if they're going to offer those two things. So those question marks are just indicating that, that's research on each specific MBA program to know, do they offer those opportunities? Wharton is a type of program that does give some of that industry-specific knowledge, technical expertise, but what all MBAs are going to do is give you the tools and experience and knowledge to help develop future business opportunities or organizations you're part of and craft managerial leadership skills, which are not found in the same way at those specialized master's degrees. And the students, I'll say when they decide to pursue that MBA, this is again looking at that same survey response, but a different question. The timing of that is when individuals are at the point where they know that they need to enhance their career, whether through potentially pivoting in a job function or industry, maybe at the point where they want to start their own company and take innovation into their own hands, or some combination of those. So when we think about Wharton and all that information, maybe the benefits of an MBA and why you might be pursuing such a professional degree, the Wharton program really focuses on, and I think Dean Erica James says this best, we're looking at preparing the future leaders. It's not just about educating of the past, it's using and creating skills and experience and knowledge to allow future opportunities to come up and have our students be part of the core of the future of the business and geopolitical worlds that exist out there in our on our planet. So the way that we do this at Wharton is by ultimately focusing on you as an individual. You're obviously part of a large school, and I'll get to the size of our student body a little bit later, but what we believe is really important is to begin with you. And each of you are going to have your own personal motivations for pursuing an MBA. I shared some of that data earlier that talks about broader trends in the types of roles people have. But for any individual, the types of skills and knowledge and experience that they want to curate in this MBA program is going to be different than their peers or anybody next to them. So we believe in that opportunity to personalize your experience, but we want to pair you with individuals of diverse backgrounds so you can learn from the experiences of people around you. Again, most of our students, almost all of them, come with several years of full-time work experience. So we want you to be able to learn from people across different industries, those that have come from a marketing and or real estate background, people who come from a private equity or venture capital background, somebody who's created a startup or worked at an early stage startup, individuals that have been in various financial roles, and other people who have worked in nonprofits and government agencies, who have been service members, who have worked in AmeriCorps or the armed forces at some country. And it's important to know that that learning team serves as this immediate cross-functional group that you will work in all of your early projects. Your first year core class group projects will be with this learning team, intentionally designed to have as diverse possible professional and personal backgrounds so you can learn from one another and take advantage immediately of that diverse class. And then we broaden that further. Every learning team is paired with 11 other learning teams to create an academic cohort that explores the first year core curriculum alongside one another to develop a lot of those different skills, those foundational knowledge and experiences that will allow them to be successful in any future industry while learning from each other, again, across all these personal, professional, and academic backgrounds. And that helps me transition in talking about what is distinctive about the Wharton curriculum itself. We have basically 3 components of our curriculum at the Wharton MBA. About half of those credit units, which about 1 credit unit equals 1 class, about half of them come from our core, which again are the foundational elements that would allow you to be successful in any future business offering. Again, that's that general management background that I shared earlier that we have. But as it relates to that individualization, that personalization, we allow students to complete 1 or more majors during their MBA, as well as electives to allow them to really focus and identify what are the skills and knowledge areas and experiences that are going to best help me grow and reach my future goals, both in the short, middle, and long terms. And those majors are pretty wide reaching, those specialization areas. You see a list here of more than 15 different majors. And these majors don't need to be necessarily the area that you plan to go into next, but these are opportunities for you to identify what knowledge areas are going to fill some gaps that you need to be successful in your future. You do see that there's 6 of these majors that have blue gears next to them. Each of those 6 majors indicate that that specific major is dictated as STEM eligible. So for any international student who's looking to take advantage of the STEM OPT extension, if you have one of these 6 majors as part of the collection of majors you complete in the Wharton MBA, you would have that STEM OPT extension eligibility depending on the other steps you take. Beyond the immediate cohort and learning team and that academic orientation, we believe in having holistic support by both your peers that form a cluster. There's 3 cohorts in every single cluster in our program. And this cluster serves as a social home to you in many respects, but it also includes holistic support by staff members. Every single cluster, one of these 4 different clusters that comprise the entire class, are almost serving as teams. And there's a lot of different fun and engaging ways that we collect these different individuals. And while we create some differences between, cohort 4, the Tigers, versus cohort 1, the Lions, versus cohort 2, the Dragons, and 3, the Bees, you are all part of crafting different skills and experiences among one another and having friendly competitions throughout the year with each other. But what I think is most important about these clusters is you and every single member of your cluster will actually share the same individuals who are your advising support network. This group, what we would call your ASN on campus, includes an advisor in the academic programming office, in the career management office, in our McNulty leadership program, the leadership office, as well as the student life office. And that holistic form of support allows each individual who pursues their own distinct combination of these 4 tenets of our program to have a collection of advisors that are collectively supporting and engaging them. We believe that all 4 of these areas are really vital to you as an individual. And each student is gonna spend time in slightly different percentages in each of these 4 different components. And things like our distinctive grade non-disclosure policy, which means that our students don't need to share, they don't share necessarily their transcripts when they're applying to different internships and jobs, allows for students to, number one, when they look at their academic courses that they pursue, they don't need to take only the courses that they think they'll get the top grade in. They take the courses that will give them the best skill and knowledge development to be successful later on. It also gives them the flexibility to pursue different leadership and student life experiences that will help them grow in really important ways that will allow them to be successful, knowing that the time spent running a student-led conference is in many respects just as valuable as some of those academic development opportunities that they have, and vice versa. So I'll talk a little bit about the McNulty Leadership Program, because these offerings that so many of our students take, you can see how many students get involved in these in any given academic year. These McNulty Leadership Programs are far-reaching and allow our students to develop some of those soft skills that are so vital to being a successful leader, whether that's taking advantage of People Lab or exploring some of the authors at Wharton programs, maybe pursuing one of our ventures or intensive, which are those experiences like traveling to Antarctica and doing a trek there and pushing yourself to emotional and physical extremes in a curated and facilitated environment to learn about how you respond and how you make decisions in stressful situations and have experiences that are unlike any others that you might have the opportunity to explore in your life. There's many ways that we cultivate these, what we broadly say as stretch experiences, through both ventures, intensives, nonprofit board fellows, P3, executive coaching, etc. Student life also plays a big role. Most of our students coming into the city of Philadelphia for some, the first time in their lives, being able to engage and be involved in any number of different clubs, whether they're professionally based or affinity based or recreational, that involvement and initiative is incredible. And then we also have a number of student-led conferences which connect to different career paths and different academic backgrounds and different personal backgrounds. Things like the Wharton Africa Business Forum or things like our Energy Conference are student-led and allow our students to engage with alumni, leaders in both politics and different corporate levels to engage and learn and grow and create opportunities for their peers and classmates to learn and grow as well in that respective area, creating an incredible opportunity for yourself and the entire Wharton community. And then there's career management. And again, as a professional degree, one of the most important things we can do is align our entire program and create both the support and opportunities to navigate your future career growth, both through direct opportunities to get into great internships, in which we've had 100% success in getting students who are seeking an internship in between their first and second years of the MBA into an internship, as well as over a 98% success rate by the summer of their graduation into a full-time role of that student's selection. And those opportunities across all 30 of these different industries that our career management team supports. And the success of this is wide-reaching. It's demonstrated in the diversity of the types of industries and the types of companies that our students pursue, whether it is a private equity fund like Clayton, Dubilier and Rice, or an incredible financial or CPG organization. All of these companies that you see listed here are companies that are graduating class from last year. At least 2 members of our graduating Wharton MBA class went into upon graduating. So again, you see the diversity and prestige of a lot of these organizations, and the pride that our students have in creating the next opportunities in tech, in entertainment, in consulting, diversified financial services, etc. So I've talked about the smaller elements of our class, but ultimately every single MBA class at Wharton is comprised of about 864 students. As I shared, that math comes from the 4 different clusters of 216 students that come from around the world. Nearly a third of our student population in any given year, sometimes more, sometimes less, comes from some other country outside of the US. And they're diverse populations of different backgrounds, professional, academic, and personal experiences that we want our students to constantly be able to network and develop within. And they all move into the city of Philadelphia. One of the great opportunities about a highly accessible and easy to navigate city that is affordable like Philadelphia, which is the 6th largest metropolitan area in the US right now, is that almost every student moves into the city of Philadelphia itself. While our campus is located around 37th and Walnut Street, which is in the University City District of Philadelphia, most of our students live about a mile east of that location in one of a couple adjacent neighborhoods. Rittenhouse Square is a common destination for our students, Society Hill, Graduate Hospital. These areas, all located around this right-hand circle, are where our students live so they can explore not just the campus, which is located in Philadelphia, but the main hubs, the main commerce, the main cultural opportunities within Philadelphia, which itself was the first US city to be named a World Heritage City. And in addition to having a campus a mile west of you from where you live, and having that ability to walk or commute or take our public transportation or an Uber or a Lyft or bike, we also place a number of different opportunities and programming spaces near where you live. So let's say on Friday when you don't have class, you can actually go, instead of walking all the way to campus, you can walk just a couple of blocks to 2401 Walnut Street, where our Student Life Office has a number of different office and meeting spaces where our students can engage and collaborate in their learning teams or in their clubs and activity groups, etc., to be involved and engage with one another without having to walk all 1 mile away. You just have a couple blocks, and having that accessibility to Wharton near where you live is another great opportunity while exploring that city through your 2-year program. In addition to the city of Philadelphia itself, we want to create those opportunities to be involved around the world. There are lots of ways to do this. And I'll say in some of the small nuanced ways, like our global modular courses or global immersion programs, which typically occur during a break during the year. These are intensive learning opportunities from either a cultural and commerce element or in an academic way that is connecting you to different executives and organizational leadership opportunities in different parts of the world. And those, again, happen during a break, either somewhere between 3 and 7 days, where you travel to a location, meet with leaders, grow and develop. We also have some semester-based programs that allow you to travel the continent or parts of the world. So our Semester in San Francisco program is an opportunity for students to take an entire semester of their MBA experience and actually complete that in the Wharton San Francisco campus. We are a bi-coastal program, something that is unique to Wharton. And having that campus in the Embarcadero area of San Francisco allows our students to intern in Silicon Valley while taking courses at the Wharton San Francisco campus with Wharton faculty among a collection of peers, which is an incredible experience for those interested in areas like big tech or entrepreneurship, venture capital, private equity. We also have an incredible alliance with INSEAD, which allows our students to actually study abroad at some point during or maybe even right after their MBA at Wharton, spending time by taking classes and connecting with students in either the Paris or Singapore campus at INSEAD. And there's also some really incredible interconnected and big ways our students can take advantage of the global opportunities. And I love calling attention to the Lauder Institute, which you see here on the left part of the screen. And that is a dual degree program that's integrated with the MBA as a whole, with specialized cohort opportunities, and students who apply to the Deferred program and or the full-time MBA program through the traditional means can apply to the Lauder Institute, and over the course of a 2-year period, be engaged in having language and cultural immersion as part of their broader MBA experience, with an incredible cohort of students in addition to the cohorts they have in the MBA program itself. There's also the entrepreneurial ecosystem at Wharton and Penn, and we call that Venture Lab. And that includes a variety of different startup challenges and showcases and accelerators. There's over $600,000 of funding that we provide to our students in any given year across 36 different funds. And all of these different opportunities will now take place in Tangen Hall, which is opening this year. It's a brand new 70,000 square foot entrepreneurial and innovation-based building that's located at 40th and Sansom Street, so at a city corner, that allows the bottom floor to convert into a pop-up retail space that includes elsewhere in that building a test kitchen and maker spaces and other design labs, giving our students more opportunities to support and engage and build their own ventures or be broadly connected to that entrepreneurial ecosystem. You don't need to be an aspiring entrepreneur to take advantage and learn about the importance of how this work is closely associated with angel investing or venture capital or other elements of mergers and acquisitions. We get to do this and explore this through the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem that exists. And we're known for having a lot of success in these areas. These collection of opportunities around the world have led to some really profound and really strong startups in recent years. I'm currently reading these slides by wearing my Warby Parker glasses, and I'm sure I'm not the only one looking at these slides right now wearing a set of Warbys at the moment. But there's other amazing startups that have come that you might not be as familiar with. We'll use Evrani as an example, which you see towards the bottom right side of this slide. And Evrani is a luxury cosmetic brand that actually began, it was launched during the students' time in the Wharton MBA. So it's not just those students who make startups when they leave, it's those students who are making and launching startups as students and selling those products. And again, creates incredible value to having that pop-up retail space on the first floor at Tangen Hall. And there's also non-retail based entrepreneurship that is existing. Twine Labs is a great example of having a data-based HR type of system and incredible technology that's being used and employed at a lot of different organizations around the world, including the Wharton School itself. So I've talked a lot about Wharton and some of the distinctive parts of Wharton, but it's also, where are you right now? And for those of you who are watching this, you are probably in either the early part of your undergraduate or maybe your graduate education. And as you start thinking about how to prepare for an MBA as a college student, I'm going to simplify, but look at your early years of undergraduate as learning and foundational exploration. Opportunities to see how you can grow and learn both academically and within your community and in your pre-professional exposure. Some of you have pretty strong ideas of where you think you might want to go, but you're yet to really explore and put those to action and learn. And it's great to have these opportunities to start practicing and learning both about these different industries in pragmatic and practical terms, as well as a lot about yourself. And I think those early years are really important in that sort of foundational reflection, development sense. And then in your latter undergraduate years, maybe your graduate years, for those of you who might be applying to a program like this as a master's student, those are really the development and impact years, where that reflection that I shared is so important, to use a growth mindset and see how can you put those lessons you've learned about yourself and these other pre-professional and academic opportunities, how can you put them to practice? Take advantage of more internships and research fellowships and development areas, make greater impact and create mentorship opportunities within the communities in which you live. And on top of that, what I encourage anybody who's in their undergraduate or graduate terms, whether or not you decide you want to apply to a deferred MBA program, I encourage you to take the GMAT and the GRE, begin prepping maybe in the summer going into your junior year or your junior year, and then hopefully in the summer or in the winter of your final year of undergraduate study, you can take the GMAT or the GRE. At this point, basically every single business school in the US accepts either the GMAT or the GRE, and there is no preference between the two. So being able to get that early practice and take those exams as a college student, when your test scores will last for 5 years after taking them, you will score better. There's a lot of evidence that suggests that students score better on standardized tests, these GMAT and GRE exams, when they are in college, because you're in the practice of taking exams of this nature. And instead of having this multi-year gap when you're maybe working full-time and have other distractions and can't dedicate the same time and aren't in the same practice. And by having that, you are prepared to either apply now or in the future. And that's the decision you have. In your final year of study, you can decide to apply to a deferred admissions program. And I encourage anybody that has a high degree of confidence that an MBA will be part of your future to consider applying to a deferred MBA program like the Moelis Advance Access Program. But if you decide not to, or if, let's say you apply to some and you don't get admitted, you can then wait to apply after several years. So again, if there's any uncertainty, if there's any reason why you're not, I'd say 90% confident that an MBA is going to be part of your future, you can always wait, and that opportunity will still exist. But in addition to what happens before you apply, I think it's important to demonstrate and to share the value of a deferred MBA by looking at what's the difference in terms of the 4 years after graduating that happens for somebody who goes into a deferred program versus waits to apply. So I'm going to look a little bit at the bottom section first to talk about what you would expect in your first years after graduation before an MBA if you are not in a deferred MBA program. And during those early years, those first years, you're gaining your professional footing, hopefully finding ways to exceed the expectations, creating new opportunities by finding mentors and advocates for you, but you're building the blocks that are going to allow you to start climbing early on, which allows you in maybe that in between that first and second year to start leading within your organization and working within the systems that are in place while building relationships to give you those opportunities to get that strong footing and prepare yourself to ask for different advice and support as you potentially pursue that MBA. In that 2 to 4 year period, you start seeking some of those external facing opportunities. You begin, I encourage you, even a year or 2 years before you apply to an MBA school, you start documenting the impact you make, because that information will be really important for your application process. And you begin researching business schools and contacting MBA alums to learn about these different communities and see where you might want to play your role. And then when you're about, somewhere between 2 and 4 years, and maybe four or more years, you then start getting into the work of applying to business school. And that pathway is very common. Most of the population that ends up attending any MBA program comes through what I'll say the traditional pathways of working full-time and applying as a full-time employee. And that's more than sufficient. There's incredible leaders that come from there. But let's look at the top part. And if you are somebody who applies and gets admitted into a deferred MBA program, there's a lot of similarities between what you do, but with that confidence, with the knowledge that you have a guaranteed seat in an MBA program waiting for you, no matter what sort of challenges or successes or failures you find, you then have this opportunity for increased risk tolerance. So when you start learning, when you gain your professional footing, you're learning the craft within your organization, and you have the benefit of some resources and an entire network of deferred students to learn from simultaneously. And you can begin using that same orientation to exceed expectations, but really critically observe the norms of your industry and the companies that you work for. And in that, first, second year, you have the confidence that you can start seeking those really difficult projects and leadership opportunities, and you can start challenging those norms and assumptions in a way that's really powerful, not to be contrarian to the people around you, but without needing to have the confidence, and I'll say take some of the safe routes that might come up when you apply to an MBA program, so that way you're prepared to have the best possible support. We want our deferred MBA students to really see the power that comes from taking calculated and well-informed risks, but things that you might not have had the same confidence to pursue had you not had that guaranteed seat in an MBA. So then when you look for those external facing opportunities, when you create new ventures, new opportunities, and you start innovating, even before your MBA, you have gained all the same experiences while had, again, that increased tolerance for risk. You've had that opportunity to start challenging the norms, innovate within the industry you are, and learn really vital lessons to be a successful member of an MBA community and lay the groundwork for skills and stretch experiences that will last you for years and years to come. So you've accelerated this opportunity both personally and developmentally in your professional career at an earlier time when you're part of one of these deferred MBA programs. So I want to talk a little bit more about the Moelis program itself. Our application deadline this year will be March 23rd. So a little bit earlier than some of our peers, but when you apply to us in that final year study, whether you are in your third year and you're graduating after your third year of undergraduate, or your fourth year or your fifth year, maybe you're in a master's program and you're graduating, no matter when you apply, if you meet the criteria for the Moelis Advance Access Program, if you're admitted, then you get, again, that opportunity to engage with your Moelis community while working professionally. And those two things happen simultaneously for 2 to 4 years before you begin your MBA program. And one of the parts that's distinctive about the Moelis program is the engagement our students have along the way. And we think it's really important for our students to be able to connect with one another through an online platform that allows them to introduce themselves, ask each other for insights, take advantage of other really powerful professional development and leadership training that we can host through a single platform that is mobile friendly, can be used on the web, so that you have the resources to be successful in those 2 to 4 years before you arrive on campus. So if you decide to apply, this is the timeline that will be helpful to you as you see this upcoming year. So for those individuals planning to apply this spring, somebody who's graduated anytime from undergraduate or graduate between October 1 of 2020 through September 30th of 2021, you would apply this year. Our application deadline is March 23rd. After several weeks of application review, we will invite a portion of our applicant pool to interview, and those interviews will take place via Zoom, a combination of a team-based discussion as well as a one-on-one interview over the final week of April. And we'll make our final decisions in May and allow you until the start of June to decide if you will enroll and become a Moelis Fellow or not. And these are the different components of our application and what we will require. We do have an application fee. If you have any sort of financial concern, you can always contact us and request to be considered for a fee waiver with some documented rationale for the need for that fee waiver. We will review those individually, but we do have an application fee. We do ask for unofficial transcripts. You can self-report either the GMAT or the GRE. We'll ask for a resume, letters of recommendation, and a couple essays. And that's pretty common around other deferred programs, similar things to expect as well. As I shared, we have two portions of our interview process. One is a team-based discussion, which is a leaderless group exercise that allows individuals to collaborate with one another. I talked about the importance of collaboration in the learning teams in the Wharton MBA. And this team-based discussion actually gives you a flavor of what a learning team would feel like during your MBA experience. And it allows us to see, how do you collaborate with other people? There's also a one-on-one that allows you to talk a little bit more specifically with a member of the admissions committee and the admissions team. And then if you are admitted, we have a two-part deposit process. So if you are admitted and decide that you want to enroll as a Moelis Fellow, you have a $1,000 deposit that's due at the time of your enrollment. And then in the year that you decide to matriculate, you will then provide the other half of your deposit. All of that deposit then goes into your first year, paying your first year's tuition. So that money comes right back to you in that case. Each year of our process, you have an annual declaration of intent to enroll, which just allows you to update us professional development experiences you've had, as well as allow us to learn when you are planning to matriculate into the program. I've hinted at some of the application tips that are yet to come, but I wanted to share that we are going to create multiple opportunities for you to learn more about how to be in the best position for applying to the program. So in the months to come, you'll be able to tune in for a live application tips webinar. The 3 that are listed here are already scheduled. They're on our website and our events archive. We also have a webinar that is going to be recorded and live even as early as today that you can access through our YouTube channel as well. We will host a variety of virtual office hours. We have 2 of these already scheduled in the month of March, but we will probably host a variety of others. And I would encourage you to keep attuned to our Moelis Advance Access Program website to take a look. And then throughout the entire year, you can connect with us through email, that MBA-advanceaccess@wharton.upenn.edu is a great way to be connected with us. Myself and my colleague Karan are on that email constantly, and you can engage with us. You can also reach out to us via social, both on Instagram and Facebook at Wharton MBA Admissions, as well as that YouTube channel. And if you were to just search in YouTube, Moelis Application Tips Webinar 2021, you would be able to find that application tips session that is recorded whenever you see and hear this. So please be connected to us. Please spend time with our team, asking us questions, being thoughtful, and know that we are here to support you. We're really excited that you're at this juncture of your academic and professional lives. And we hope that you do consider applying to a deferred MBA program like the Moelis Advance Access Program. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Best wishes, please stay healthy and well, and we will talk again soon.